This is Jeff Kuhner from the Washington Times, sitting in for Michael Savage on the Savage Nation. 1-800-449-8255 is the number. Michael, my buddy, if you're listening, I just want to take this time to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the wonderful honor and opportunity of filling in for you tonight. And in particular, I reviewed your book for the Washington Times several weeks ago. I thought it was an absolutely brilliant work, extremely well written, laid out the argument against Obama almost better than I think anyone has ever done in the last couple of years. And I know it's a number one bestseller, and I know it's done very well. New York Times, Wall Street Journal, you name it, has done extremely well. But what I find remarkable, Michael, is how so few people on the right, the supposed conservative intelligentsia, failed to heed the warnings and the advice that you have dispensed over the last couple of years, and that is clearly articulated in your book, Trickle-Down Tyranny. You said he was creating a socialist states of America. You said Barack Obama was slowly imposing a socialist revolution from above. You warned us of his ties to George Soros. You warned us of his ties to the radical left. And yet, many in the conservative media political class ignored your dire warnings. And now it may be too late. We shall see this November. But for your courage, your honesty, your bravery, your brilliance, I just want to thank you, my buddy. To all of you out there, go to michaelsavage.com, michaelsavage.com, for the absolute must-read stories you cannot find anywhere else. And in particular, there is a story on the top right-hand side. It's not at the top, just underneath the top. Majority believe Obama has changed country for the worse. Here we have it in a nutshell, members of the Savage Nation. There is now a new opinion poll taken by the Hill newspaper, which is a very credible paper here in Washington. Actually, I read it very often. It has fantastic information in terms of what's happening inside D.C., Congress, White House, the politics that take place in this city. In a recent poll, an overwhelming majority of Americans, nearly 90%, believe that the country has been profoundly changed and transformed under Obama. The question then is, has it been good or bad? 56% of Americans believe that the country has been transformed in a negative way. Only 35% believe the country, yes, it's changed, but for the better. It has been a positive transformation. And what is stunning about these results, it's not just conservatives, it's not just Republicans, it's not just independents. 1 in 5 Democrats, the supposed, I guess, Clinton Democrats or moderate Democrats or blue dog Democrats, whatever you want to call them, they also believe the country has changed for the worst. And this is what Michael Savage was warning us from the beginning. This was not your typical New Deal liberal. This was not a black Franklin Roosevelt that was coming into the Oval Office in 2009. This was a Marxist revolutionary. This was a diehard socialist. This was an America hater. And if you remember, Obama himself hinted at it. Like every fanatic, like every ideologue, he can't help himself but reveal his real designs and intentions upon the country. And Obama said, I want to be what Ronald Reagan was for the conservative movement. I want to be for the left a transformative president. I want to transform America. And over the last 3 years, that is exactly what he has done. And now today, he comes out in the East Room of the White House and holds another speech in front of the fawning press corps who love him, the way the left used to love Castro or Lenin or Stalin. And he then announces that he will raise taxes next year on families or individuals earning more than $250,000 a year. He says he will no longer extend the Bush tax rates for those making more than $250,000. He says, yes, for those that make less than $250,000, I will extend the Bush tax rates for one more year. But not for those making over $250,000. That is, quote, the rich, according to Barack Hussein Obama. The fact of the matter is, the overwhelming majority of small businesses in this country, the mom and pop stores, the little firms, the businesses, the restaurants, the bars that hire 6, 8, 7, 9 people, that's them. They make a little bit over $250,000 a year. They make about $1 million, $2 million. They got to meet payroll. They got overhead. They got expenses. Overwhelmingly, these small businesses are going to be soaked and hosed. It will break the back of this economy. Already, businesses have been fleeing. Investment capital has been fleeing. My friends, American business is sitting on trillions of dollars of cash. They don't want to invest it because they're afraid of the next move that this socialist, this fascist, this Marxist in the White House is going to do next. They got Obamacare now to deal with, which is going to put another blow to the economy. So they don't want to invest any money. And that's what this man is proposing. Now, when we're on the verge of a double dip recession, he proposes more taxes. As Michael Savage eloquently put it once, Obama is, quote, the great destroyer, unquote. And what has been his main victim? It has been the middle class. That has been his enemy from day one. Yes, it's the wealthy. Yes, it's the rich. Yes, it's corporations. Yes, it's big business. But in particular, he wants to destroy and break the back of the middle class. Why? Because the middle class is the heart of this country. The middle class built America. The middle class is the cradle of our republic and the cradle of our democracy. That's why he's been spending money like a drunken sailor, bankrupting us. That's why he passed and rammed through Obamacare. To make the middle class now dependent upon government subsidies, dependent upon government health care. And we are slowly being impoverished, day by day by day. Don't even take my word for it. On Friday, the latest jobs report came out. For the last 3 months, we have not been able to produce more than 80,000 jobs a month. We're not even making enough jobs to take care of the new people coming into the workforce. We're not going forward, we're going backwards. It is unbelievable. Unemployment is now at 8.2%. It has been for over 40 months, over 3 years. You count in those that are underemployed or those that have given up working, the real number is 15%. That's the Great Depression. 15%, that's the Great Depression. We are living through an Obama depression. For blacks, unemployment is at 14.4%. Hispanics, 11%. I ask all of you, has this man not been an absolute dismal failure? And as gas prices soar, as food prices go up, as the economy is now stalled, as unemployment is now at over 8%, as the headwinds are now coming in from everywhere, from Europe, from Asia, from China, everywhere now the global economy is slowing down. As we dig ourselves into a financial and deficit hole we may never recover from. As he has impoverished and destroyed the working class. What is the dear leader telling the people on the campaign stump? Here is Barack Obama over the weekend in the key state of Ohio saying, don't worry, Being middle class, nothing to do with money. Guys, it's a state of mind. Boys,
middle
go the
class
clip.
is also an attitude. It's not just about income. It's about knowing what's important and not measuring your success just based on your bank account. But it's about your values and being responsible and looking after each other.
No, it's not. Being middle class, that the classic definition of middle class is by your income. What status, what income status you fall in? Are you wealthy? Are you upper middle? Are you middle? Are you lower middle? Or are you working class? Or are you poor? Stupid. I don't know how else to say this. It's unbelievable. And the only reason, think about it. You're on the verge now of losing your job. You're on the verge now of foreclosing on your home. You're on the verge of being kicked out on the street. Don't worry about it. It's a state of mind. You're still middle class. No. We're going to be bankrupt as a country. Don't worry about it. We're still middle class. It's a state of mind. You don't understand. It's like him. Notice now, his whole campaign is now based upon now this new narrative. Suddenly, no, he's no longer the one. He's no longer the Messiah. He's no longer the man who will part the seas and create a liberal utopia. No, now he's Mr. Middle Class. All of a sudden now he cares about the middle class. He's in Ohio. He's in Pennsylvania. He's running around going at bars, drinking beers with the ordinary folks. He's middle class. He doesn't want you to know he made $15 million. That's his latest tax returns. He raked in $15 million from his books and from other sources of income. This guy's a multimillionaire several times over. Don't get me wrong. I don't begrudge a man his money. But don't tell me you're making $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year. You're the one who cares about the poor guy, the poor schmuck in Ohio or the steel worker in Pennsylvania, when you've been living off the fat of the land the entire career in life. My friends, we have a con man in the White House. And now the majority of the American people have finally understood that this man is changing this country for the worse. This is the importance of that opinion poll. This is why it's so important. 56% of Americans now believe and know we've changed, but we've changed in a negative way. So the question for the members of the Savage Nation, it's a very simple question. Do you believe under Obama that this country has changed for the worse or for the better? Personally, on your gut level, in your everyday living, has your standard of living gone up or down? And to the Democrats out there, do you think the country's changed for the better? And why? 1-800-449-8255. Jeff Kuhner, sitting in for the living legend, Michael Savage, on the Savage Nation.
Savage.